Meanwhile, tonight, one of the most important relief agencies in the world is announcing that 500,000 children are at risk. This is in Libya. They say if the violence there continues, that's what's going to happen. The information is coming from UNICEF, which is a UN agency. And just as that information was being reported, we learned that a government plane has been shot down by rebels who are marching on the capital of Libya. So we told you earlier this week about a guy named Khalifa Haftar. He's the enigmatic leader. By the way, these are some of the pictures that we're. But let me tell you about this person first. He's the enigmatic leader of a national Libyan army who was once a CIA operative, but has now turned against the West and wants to drive out the UN-supported government. That government was established after the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi. All right, now here's some of the photos. Let's put those back up again, the ones that we just had. Look at this picture. These are one of the photos. There's a bunch of them circulating now on social media, as you might imagine. This is the downed military airplane belonging to a Tripoli-based government. This happened in Misrata, which is important because that's a city believed to be controlled not by the rebels, but by the present government. Maybe not anymore. Is Libya about to become another Syria or even Yemen? This is an important story with huge international implications. It's the news with Rick Sanchez, where we cover international news stories, unlike our competitors, because we really do believe it's time to do news again. Okay, these are the questions we think you'll be asking tomorrow. Are the lives of hundreds of thousands of children in peril in Libya as a result of what's going on there? That's the story we're focusing on at the top of our show. Then, is there a sudden gold buying rush? China, Russia, Egypt, what does it mean? And just how much radiation is the cell tower in your neighborhood actually emitting? And what does that mean to you? All right, let's tonight begin with what's going on in Libya, because it is starting to look like the world's next hot zone. Most of us here in the United States really stopped thinking about Libya with the brutal public killing of Muammar Gaddafi. But since then, the UN has tried to set up a government that's favorable to NATO and to the West. But now that government is apparently being challenged by this mysterious general. We've talked about him before. His name is Khalifa Haftar. And tonight his forces have shot down a government military jet in that video circulating on social media that we showed you just moments ago. So how big is this? Let's bring in former Pentagon official Michael Maloof for his reaction to what's going on. Michael, what do you make of this shoot down of this plane? How big a deal is this?
Well, it can be fairly big. It's showing that his forces are encroaching upon the capital.
It's General Khalifa, dude.
Yeah, Khalifa Haftar's forces are closing in on Tripoli. Question is, how far does he want to go? Now, he has amassed tremendous amounts of territory, oil, and what have you, so he's got a lot of territorial coverage, also population. And he's going to use that as a bargaining chip with the embattled government in Tripoli.
What does it say about the fact that he's able to shoot down a plane in the city of Misrata, which is controlled not by his group, but by the government? Does that mean... I mean, is that
it shows force projection?
Yeah,
that he has a capability. Depends upon what shot it down. That's a little unclear, and there's also some question what that plane was doing there, or whether it even belonged to a foreign force. We
started the newscast with this decision or this announcement by UNICEF, which, by the way, is a UN relief agency. So, you know, there's always some politics in this kind of stuff. But they're saying, look, if this guy, this general, these rebels aren't somehow stopped or controlled, those are not exactly their words, but I'm paraphrasing, as many as 500,000 children could die if this thing, you know, blows up the way it seems capable of doing. What do you make of that statement?
It's a worst-case scenario, but if you read between the lines, this could evolve into another civil war. There is resistance by the government. They are using militant groups, and they're actually resisting. and they're getting other militant groups now to come on down. This could inflame into a much larger conflict.
Now, this General Khalifa Haftar. He's not an Islamist, so this is not like somebody can say, oh, it's just another, terrorist organization taking. He's not, right?
That's correct.
So what is he?
Well, he thinks that he can consolidate enough of the country to take power as a unifying factor, because up until now the country has been totally disunited and into tribes fighting amongst each other. He feels he has the ability to consolidate,
be a unifier.
To be a unifier in effect, but he's getting support out of from the West, from principally France, Russia, as well as Saudi Arabia and UAE.
What about the United States?
Supports the UN-backed government in Tripoli.
This is so crazy.
And what does it suggest about U.S.-Saudi relationships in this particular case, since they're backing opposite sides?
So who will eventually try and stop this guy, if anyone?
Right now, I don't see anybody unless there's a full-throated effort to back the Tripoli government in a major way, and that will definitely bring on a major civil war.
So it sounds like what you're saying is the government is going to fall.
It conceivably could fall. There was supposed to be a conference later next week. That apparently has been postponed as a result of this this offensive. And it's all to gather power toward the end of the year when they're supposed to have elections.
Libya, the next hot zone.
Yes.
And we've been on it all week, and I'm glad we have it. I'm glad we have you to explain it to us.
You.
Thank you so much, Michael. We appreciate that. I'm Rick Sanchez. You found us on YouTube, and that's awesome. But you know what? I'm also live every night at 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern on DirecTV and Dish and cable and satellite, the RT app, and Pluto TV. I'll see you there.